Hello there, Optimus Prime here. Today I would like to take a slightly longer look, more of a review, of this wonderful piece of kit, which is the Auldey Alpha Action Elite 01 Optimus Prime. Now, I did a short for this a few weeks ago, and that sort of showed the basics of the figure, but this is going to be more of an in-depth look at it properly. So, let's get to it. So let's have a look. First up, we have a very nice shiny box that's reflecting all of my lights beautifully. It's really striking in this sort of pink and purple colour, really sort of nice 80s vibes coming off of it, with some pictures of the other figures in the range on the other side. So Prime, Sunstorm, Jazz, RC, Kickback and Cliffjumper, Soundwave, another version of Prime, and Starscream. Unfortunately, I've only got one of the two versions of Prime. I think the other one is the toy colours, or is it metallic? I can't. It looks like toy colours. It's actually really nice. I want one now. Oh well. Yeah, so the packaging is really nice, really cool. And if we just slip this piece off, you get a good look at the figure inside. I'll pop that to the side there. Really nice sort of window-ish display. You could keep it looking quite nice like that if you wanted to, but who wants to keep toys in packaging? I suppose in package collectors, but I am not one of those. Let's pop this out here. And also in here is a lovely little trading card that you get with it. Nice and shiny, really nice artwork. Till all are one, and it's all official and everything. So that is lovely. Let's just pop that to one side and crack this open. Now, if you've seen the short I've got knocking around, you'll know full well that this isn't an actual unboxing, as I have already opened this before, but I thought I'd put it back in the packaging for the sake of this video. So let's just pop this out of here and get him out, along with all of his MacGuffins. So I'm just going to pop all the hands just out there and get this out the way. I did spend about 10 minutes trying to find one of the hands earlier, which is quite annoying. All the rest were where I thought they were, except for that one. So, here we go. Here he is in all of his glory. Let's bring him a little bit closer, make sure you can see him all lovely. Looking really swish. It's such a lovely version of sort of the animated style. Looks really just like how he did in the toons. Really nice looking figure with lots of little fun things which we'll go into in a moment. Now, you get the standard array for this sort of thing of hands. You have sort of spread hands, two of those, obviously right hand, left. You have accessory holding hands, and you have pointing hands, because Optimus Prime needs to point at the Decepticons or other things. So I'm just going to pop off one of these fist hands here and pop it there, and pop one of the accessory holding hands in, and then I can pop his ion blaster into his hand. Now, let's make sure I've got this all in focus, and we can have a good look at all of the posability of this figure. Then we'll do a couple of size comparisons, and I think that will do. Now, I was so impressed with the posability of this figure. It is absolutely insane what it can do. For the price point and the size of the figure, it's bonkers. So let's start with the feet. The feet are fairly standard. There's a bit of wobble there, there's ankle tilt. The front part does move separately, so you've got a whole extra amount of movement there, and there's a little ball joint in there, and the feet also actually come down, so you've got extra room for posing there, so you can get quite a decent array of movement. The toe part, as I said, separate, so you can actually spread it out quite a bit, which is pretty awesome. And then getting it back in is another matter in time. You can see there's like a little bend peg in there with a ball joint on it, giving you loads of extra posability. If I can get it to go back where it was, that would be lovely. Oh no, that's right, okay. And obviously the same on the other foot. And then if we make our way up to his knees, they are also quite insane. As you can see, it's got quite a good joint that goes all the way back to there. Madness. I mean, normally a lot of the posability of figures comes from parts of their transformation, but this, where it is just a standard sort of action figure, which obviously doesn't transform, which I may not have mentioned already, but it doesn't transform. There we go, lots of posability there. The hips, they come down, so you've got another sort of joint there, which means you've got an abundance of posability there. His skirt flaps don't move, unfortunately, so that does hinder it a little bit, but I suppose that's why it comes out quite so far, so you can do loads of extra poses that way. Come out all the way. You can do like tons. It's just super. So if you don't extend that joint, it only goes back so far and only forward so far, but if you extend it out a bit, you can go all the way backwards and forwards, and it pops back in nice and easily. Easy peasy. The arms, you've got full range of motion in the shoulders, and you've got a cutout part there, so you can bring his arms up to his sides. A little bit blocked at the back because of his backpack and his smokestacks. The shoulders also come out that way, so you've got an additional bit of posability forward. You can get his hands more or less together for double-handed weapon firing action, if that is your ilk. There is also movement there. It's a bit stiff, but it is possible. Goes all the way around, and the elbows are similar to the knees, but a little bit less movement. They come up exactly that far. That's as far as they go. And then there is a little thingy on his arm here, which I'm not entirely sure what the use of that is. Perhaps for accessories. That's quite nice. And then the hands, as we said earlier, you can sort those out from multiple choices. The head, his antenna ear thingies are posable. The head itself is ball jointed and quite nice. It's double ball jointed, so there's a ball joint in there and there's a ball joint, I think, in the head itself. Well, it might only be single, but there's a fair amount of movement there, so that's good. He doesn't have an opening chest in the traditional sense, but I'll get back to that in a second. But he does have a twisting waist, not massively, admittedly, because if you can see in there, there is a lip which is preventing him from going fully backwards and forwards, but it does extend a little bit. And you've got a little bit more movement in there, and he does have an ab crunch for his abs of power, and you can also look up a wee bit as well, so that's pretty cool. And then as I said, it doesn't have a traditional chest piece in that it doesn't open up like you would expect, but it does come off and reveal an empty matrix chamber, which either my matrix was missing, or I got it out and have subsequently lost it, which I don't remember doing, but you know, anything's possible these days. Getting old, senile, all that. But it's likely to come with another figure in the future. Just to interrupt myself there, Auldey have recently announced a second wave of Alpha Elite figures. These are the S wave, which are more standard action figures in that they are not blind box, and they come with a plethora of accessories. They include Soundwave, Starscream and Optimus Prime, and Optimus comes with his Energon axe, his Matrix of Leadership, and of course his jetpack, as well as some blast effects. Very cool! Back to me! That you can pop all in there like that. And that is more or less this figure in his entirety. He's just so lovely and posable. It's a decent quality plastic. It's very light. It's quite hollow in places, but it's not bad at all. Now let's bring in Studio Series 86 Prime, just so you can see how much bigger he is. So he's almost twice the size there. Let's bring in something else. Ooh, what have we got? Oh, Blockies. Aha! Here is a Blockies Prime, and he is a bit bigger than him. So he's about 6 inches or so. Again, lovely looking figure. Lots of fun posability, and really worth the pennies if you can get hold of one. Generally speaking, they sort of come in a blind box case, so you haven't really got a huge amount of options because, you know, blind box. So you might be lucky enough to get a Prime if you wanted a Prime, or one of the others. If not, just get a case and then you'll probably get all of them. And that is pretty much it. I can't think I've left anything out, but if I have, please do drop a comment and I will do a follow-up video. Anyway, I have been Optimus Prime. Thank you for watching. Bye!